So in this question, we're looking at a keypad with 14 letters A to N. The keypad is programmed with a 4 or 6 letter code to open the garage. So in part 1 of this question, we're told that each letter can be used more than once. That is, repetition is allowed. And then we want to know how many letter codes are possible if there are no restrictions. So if we have 4 spots to fill, and we have 14 letters, and repetition is allowed, so we can fill the first spot in 14 ways, and then 14 ways, 14 ways, and 14 ways. By the multiplication rule, we have 14 to the power of 4 ways of filling that spot. For part B, A and B cannot be used. So again, we have 4 spots to fill. And if A and B cannot be used, we have eliminated 2 letters out of the 14 we have to choose from. So we just have 12 ways of filling each of these spots, since repetition is allowed. So we have 12 to the power of 4. Now suppose A and B must be used. Then we will have those 4 spots to fill, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then A must be there, B must be there. Whichever of the 2 we pick first, A or B, has 4 ways of being used. So let's assume A is here, 4 ways. And B will now have 3 spots to choose from. So that will be times 3. Now once we've picked those 2, A and B, then we have 2 spots left. Now because repetition is allowed, those 2 spots can still be filled in 14 different ways. So that will be 4 times 3 times 14 times 14. And that is if A and B must be used. But in this question here, A and B both cannot be used. So we have 12 letters left, and that to the power of 4. Now, suppose letter C must be used. So this is similar to the illustration I just gave. If C must be used, then C we have 4 ways of filling these spots. So let's assume we have C here. We still have 14 ways of filling this, 14 ways of filling this, 14 ways of filling this. So we have 4 times 14 to the power of 3 in that case. Now, if the same letter is repeated 4 times, so we have the same letter, either they're all A's or all B's, all C's, and so on, then we will only have 14 different ways of getting that to happen. So if the same letter is repeated 4 times, we have 14 different ways of getting that to happen. Now, if the same letter is not repeated 4 times, then we will have the total number of ways minus 14 ways of that happening. Okay, let's look at part 2 of the question. So now, if each letter cannot be repeated, how many 6 letter codes are possible if A and B must be used? So we want to fill 6 spots now, and A and B must be there. So let's assume we pick A first. A will have 6 ways of picking a spot. So let's assume A is here. And then B will have 5 ways of picking a spot. So if B is here. So now we have 4 spots left to fill, and because repetition is not allowed, we have 12 letters left because we've used A and B. So those 12 letters can now be placed in the 4th spot. Then we have 12 ways of filling this spot, 11 ways here, and then we will have 10 here and then 9 there. So pretty much we will have 6 times 5 times 12 times 11 times 10 times 9 ways of filling all those spots. Or we can just use the short format and say, first we will have 6 permutation 2 to choose A and B, and then times we will now have 12 permutation 4 to choose the other 4. So either way we get this answer here. Now, if C cannot be used, then we will have 13 letters left to fill the 6 spots. Say, okay, we can fill this spot in 13 ways, 12 ways, 11, 10, 9, and 8 ways. So when we multiply all of those, we get the result here. And this is pretty much just 13 permutation 6. Now, if the order in which they are entered does not matter, so order does not matter, it means we're doing combination. So that is just going to be simply 14 choose 6, 14 combination 6. And then finally, if the order does not matter and E cannot be used. So if E cannot be used, we're left with 13. And then we want to choose 6 out of 13. And that will be the answer. Now, if E must be used, so in that case, we're saying that E must be used. We want 6 items selected, and one of them is already selected. So E is already selected. So we only need to choose 5 more in that case. So E already has taken a spot. Now, repetition is not allowed, so we can only choose from 13. And then in this case, we can only choose 5 more if E must be used. And that's it.